Oh, this hangout is live. Didn't even do logo on him this time.
Oh, you switched it up.
Switched it up. So as we do, not infrequently.
Whoa.
What?
Forgot to record.
Oh, you better record then.
Sprung it on me. All right, we're recording.
As we're wont to do, we have watched a commission podcast right before we sat down to do this, and all
it's
I want to
do. It's a terrible
idea.
idea.
It sucks because all I want to do is talk about that thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I also don't want Lunch with Jim and A.Ron to just be like, "This is the live recording of the commission podcast." Double dip, motherfuckers.
Yeah, that's bad.
I wonder if we should do a live recording of the commission podcast anyway. Just release it.
I like having some stuff that's not live.
Okay, yeah, like so we can take our pants off.
Yeah,
get comfortable.
I mean,
fair point. But we gotta retch our attention to this Lunch with Jim and A.Ron. By the way, if you're just joining us, we have the Q&A app enabled. It should be somewhere embedded in your YouTube stream, little box to click, and you can ask us questions, make comments as we go. So yeah,
right.
Let's talk about the future of baldmove.com, Club Bald Move. We've been we've had a thing out for like 3 months.
We're shutting
now.
it down.
It's done. It's done.
It's a failed experiment. It's obviously not going to work. So no, I'm kidding.
We've had a bunch of stuff that we've been working in the background. As smooth as the initial launch was, it's been that rough getting some of the extra features to work. Like you would not think it would be this hard to get a Stripe payment gateway going, or to get all the account balances from SubBable ported over and all that stuff. What kind of things are we getting ready to unleash?
So I think there are a triad of things here. First of all,
triad.
Yeah, like you said, we're going to get a new payment gateway so people can use credit cards instead of just using PayPal. That's something that's been much requested.
Sure.
So in order to do that, we needed an SSL server, and we had to get all the security stuff set up, and we had to get a new server to do that, and there were problems with the new server, and it's been a long road, but we're getting there. And another thing that we're doing is we wanted to separate out the premium feeds for people.
Yeah,
because everyone was complaining, oh, you got like all the shows in one feed, and that kind of sucks because I don't listen to Mad Men, or I don't listen to Justified.
Plus,
or whatever.
the other weird thing about the feed is it doesn't have the show name.
Yeah.
Now you can usually make sense of it with the episode number and the title and all that, but it's not optimal, especially if you're just a Game of Thrones fan or you're just a Mad Men fan. Sure.
So the idea is to separate those out, and we're also going to lock those down to people with premium accounts at the same time.
Sure.
Because we can now. We had some PHP problems with that. Nobody cares. I
care.
The other thing,
give me the patch notes, man.
What is the other thing we did?
Oh, well, the other cool thing about the premium feeds being separated, is we can open them up to where, because a lot of people say, oh, I love your podcast, I want to go back and listen to last season, and we're like, yeah, you can't do that because iTunes reasons. If you're a premium feed subscriber, and you're subscribing to one of these individual feeds, we're going to just essentially put infinite archive on there. So you can find all of the shows just within your podcaster or your iTunes account, or however you listen to it. Yeah,
that was not the other thing I was thinking of.
But it's an additional benefit.
Definitely a benefit.
Because I know, that's the thing. Like yesterday, I ponied up for some of Dan Carlin's content. Mm-hmm. I've been wanting to for a while, but I had a bunch of free content to listen to. So after I burnt through the last of that, I'm like, I want to get the first couple Fall of the Roman Empire things I'd missed out on. Mm-hmm. And it is a bitch to get MP3 files into an Android platform with, into your podcasting app, because you can't just play as an MP3 player. Anytime your phone shuts off or you switch app or it reboots or whatever, you lose your progress. You can't listen to it on a web browser for some reason.
Yeah.
All those things are also flaws with our approach. So these premium feeds, I'm hoping will help everybody out, because I hate telling people, oh yeah, just go to the website, go back, it's free, you can download it, because that is not the world. That's if you do that, it's despite the user interface, not because it's so friendly and easy.
Yeah, we're not helping you at all there. So that's going to change. That's good. The other thing that we are about ready to do is switch over from SubBable completely, and take everybody's balance with them into Club Bald Move. So That was another thing that we needed a plugin for and a new server and all this stuff. So
I think we're ready to do that on their end too, because they've stopped taking new donations, right?
They stopped taking new donations. I think they're still charging people who were already signed up.
I didn't think so. I thought you couldn't, like when they first announced that you couldn't sign up for a new account, you had to sign up for Patreon. And then like last month, they made it to where even if you have a new account, they're no longer being charged and you cannot.
Okay.
But I probably need to find that out.
The case,
because the last thing I want is to port everybody's balance over and then somebody, everyone get charged for them.
Yeah.
Again, it's like,
that would be terrible. I mean, I think at the point that we port everybody's balance over, we should just shut down our SubBable account.
Yeah.
If we can. I don't even know if we can.
Right. Right.
But I hope so. So yeah, that's the third thing that's coming up. We're planning on doing a test of this next week, midweek, trying to hit somewhere between our major Game of Thrones podcast coming out.
Right.
So if we fuck it up, we can just switch it back over. But things might be a little wonky Wednesday night, Thursday morning, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
We'll see.
But we have a really nice fallback solution where since we're going to a new server, if there's any problems at all, we just revert back, just point the DNS back to the old server and everything should be running A1.
Yeah. Super easy.
No problems.
Yep. There should be no problems now that we've solved all the problems.
So once we get those three things out, then we're going to start looking at other things. I know we've been wanting to change the emails you get from the cart. So it contains like a welcome package. It like points it to the right links. You got everything of that.
Yeah.
I know we wanted to get some kind of email system because I know there's a lot of people staying on Patreon because they like to get notified when things get posted.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to make that happen, but I don't know. I couldn't give you a timeline for that. We'll see how next week goes.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff on the website that we need to fix. Like, when you click on a feed, it just takes you directly to the feed. Maybe there should be a better solution for that, telling you how to subscribe, that sort of thing.
Yeah, because that would help us out. Because
we get a lot of emails about like people asking, "Oh, I went to this. I clicked on the RSS feed and went to this weird link where it just shows a bunch of garbage, and I don't know what to do with it."
Yeah,
and we're like, "Oh, you take that URL, blah blah blah." But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of just like usability stuff that we need to fix.
Yeah. So other things, I was thinking last night, and I don't know. Sometimes I bring this stuff up and it goes nowhere. Sometimes we have a big philosophical discussion. So I don't know.
No.
But I was thinking about contracts and how like everything is done with like pen and ink, and you sign something and that's proof that you agreed to do it.
Sure.
I mean, I sit and lay awake at night because I'm thinking of how I can eventually fuck Jim out of his half of Bald Move.
Kill me and then buy it from me. Buy it from my corpse. That would work.
No, actually, I was watching Always Sunny. I've been like watching about 2 a night, starting from the beginning because I've never actually.
I'm trying to figure out which one you're.
This is the one where Dee decides she wants to do merchandise. It's the kitten mittens.
Okay,
one.
yeah.
And when the guys find out that her contract had 100% of the merchandising rights, that's how they fucked her out of her minimum wage. What's his face? Mac eats her contract.
Yeah, you could just eat the contract,
which is the only copy she had. So it's like, now how do you prove it? And she's like, well, I'm going to sue you. And it's funny, but it's like, it is weird how. I wonder how many like there can't be
I mean,
that
the lawyer. But that's the thing. Like the lawyer knows better, and he has 15 contracts.
Sure.
Like, here, you want another? Eat this one too.
Sure.
He knows.
But I'm pretty sure there's only like probably 3 copies of her operating agreement in existence.
Like signed copies? I'm wondering.
And I'm just thinking, like, not for nefarious reasons, but it wouldn't be too hard to track all those down and destroy. And I just wonder, like, what would really happen if you had something like that, where there's a big business deal that actually had real money behind it, and everyone thought there was a contract, and when you go to try to find the contract, there is no contract. Does it just become null and void? Is there some way to pick up the pieces legally, like email trails? Like what happens?
Yeah, I mean, I guess correspondence would be the next place you look, right? Can you find something that indicates there at one time was a contract? If you can, then that lends a lot of credibility to the story that there was, and so that person probably wins that case.
But what are the terms of the contract? Like, sure. We signed a contract, but my recollection says that I got everything and you got nothing.
Yeah. I imagine that if there is, in fact, only one copy of something, eating it would probably be pretty effective.
I mean, it's like kind of like The Social Network, where that was essentially the case between the Winklevosses and the Zuckerbergs, is they had some sort of contract. Maybe it was oral, maybe it wasn't. His friend had an implied contract. I mean, everybody got paid off of that. Yeah. So there's somehow they make it work. But is this something? And I started thinking about like how weird signatures are nowadays. Like when I sign for my credit card stuff, I just doctor it up. It in no way resembles my official signature. The last few times I paid my taxes or done some big like government things, I just basically type my initials and it says that's my digital signature. What kind of bullshit is that?
Yeah, that can't be.
My son could be sitting in front of that. My worst enemy could be sitting in front of that terminal. Like,
yeah, I can't imagine that initials are binding.
Why doesn't the world explode on a daily basis? Because it just seems like the things that we trust, institutions that we trust to get things done, the social security cards, the signatures are just like medieval. Like we're all running around with fucking iron skeleton keys with only 3 prongs that you could pick in 3 seconds. And that's what we live and die by, man.
Yeah, but we also live and die by, you know, the rules of society. The rules of society are such that if you go around fucking people left and right, they're not going to trust you, and you won't be able to get people to believe you long enough to trick them the next time, you know? Like fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, shame on you, that sort of thing. Like, so
what you're saying is you got to pick your spots where you fool people. You can't just be doing willy-nilly. You got to wait until all the chips are on the table, push in the middle and fool everyone.
Yeah. You got to be like Bond villain about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You got to put all the pieces in place and then turn the table in an instant.
Yeah. Well, it's like I was talking to my old boss. We were going through a bunch because I wrote a lot of stuff that interfaced financial systems. And I was explaining some of this stuff, how this worked to her. And she said, wow, you could like really fuck the company out of like thousands and thousands of dollars a week.
You guys have a lot of power.
It's literally like a Superman 3 situation. I totally could have. And I'm like, look, man, you could leave up to $1 million in cash on my desk and it will be there the next morning. Like $1 million and one, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
There's a chance you'd come in the next morning, the office would be cleaned. There is no more A.Ron Hubbard. All records of him have been deleted. And there's a fat guy in a beard sitting on a beach in Belize. Maybe. I don't know.
That's the thing. Like companies trust their IT workers with a lot of power.
Sure.
And, you know, I always use that to kind of, I don't know. You know, when you're in IT and you're kind of an underling and you're sitting around with the other underlings and you're talking about just your job
really runs this
and
place.
Random stuff. Yeah. You get a little high and mighty.
Sure.
Because I mean, you really do control quite a bit.
Yeah.
Like I worked in an insurance company and I was doing accounting reports. If I wanted to, there's a lot of shit I could have done.
Sure.
It's office space, right? Like round the fractions of the pennies into a separate account, man. And boom, you're a millionaire in a couple of years.
Right.
Like that shit works. And if you're good enough, you could probably get away from like repercussions by deleting logs if you have the access and all that stuff, especially in smaller companies.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like I was
where they don't have the regulations and the separation of duties and all that stuff.
Well, this was a pretty big company. And the thing is like, I controlled the backups too.
Yeah.
So like, what the hell would they do? I mean, I guess they could have rebuilt some stuff from paper, but I also know the guys that worked in document retention and they were kind of sketchy too. It is amazing how much trust a few people have.
Yeah.
It's like the Tyler Durden, you know, we're the people to cook your food, clean your bathrooms, park your cars, don't fuck with us.
Sure. But in this case, it's like
equivalent.
We're the people who write the tools that make you money and basically run all of the business transactions through our department. Like there's so much power there.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, when we're sitting around talking, we're thinking, you know, they really ought to pay IT workers well. Like reducing the reason that IT workers get paid so much is because they have an enormous amount of responsibility.
Sure.
For the most part, you know, the grunt workers doing HTML code, they're not the people making the money. It's the people architecting systems, writing the complex codes and algorithms and stuff that create these software packages. I mean, you need to have those people satisfied with
but you can say that about so many people. You could say that about garbage collectors. You know, they're going around and they could.
But what's a garbage collector going to do?
He could get your billing statements and your bank account numbers and your voided checks. And there's like, I mean, we just trust him not to do that.
Okay, that's fair.
Coincidentally, garbage men are paid fairly well, like surprisingly well.
Well, it's also a job nobody wants to do, right?
Yeah.
Like IT, there are people who want to do it. Garbage collectors, not so much.
Yeah. No, I think it's interesting that like if you find those places where you truly have to trust people, one of the weird exceptions is like your waiter and waitress. They don't get paid shit.
Nope.
They
but
work
they
for
rely
tips,
on tips,
and they're handling
in this country anyway.
They're handling your credit card and your credit card information on the regular. And there's so many ways they could just, I feel like, commit identity theft.
And a lot of them do. I mean, not a lot of them, but
surprisingly small amount for
surprisingly small. But the cases I usually hear of credit card theft and identity theft are coming from places like that. Where you hand someone your card, they make a copy of it, and boom.
Oh, it's terrifying. Like, I worked at this large regional convenience store, and the bad guy, I mean, there's a sophisticated technology where they can, within 30 seconds, pop like a gas pump open, hook up a couple wires, that's all a pre-built box, and then now they can harvest credit cards through a cellular connection. They don't even have to be within a few miles of the thing. Like, if they can get away with that first plant, then they're golden.
Same with like the ATM readers, right?
Yeah.
Where you slide they just put a piece of
But banks have cameras and shit. Like, you go to some podunk mom and pop gas station, or even a big multi-regional chain that doesn't do the inspections the way they should, it's taking candy from babies, man. Yeah. That's why I guess I'm an optimist, and we spoiler alert, we're doing a True Detective podcast right now, and some of the stuff we talked about so far is like how we view the universe and whether optimists and pessimists. It's one of the reasons I'm an optimist, because it's so easy to fuck everyone over at all times every day, and yet it happens comparatively at an extremely small rate. That we must all be fairly good dudes and good dudettes, or it would be a giant shit show.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just that everybody's good either. I'm with you. I'm more optimistic than I am pessimistic on this. I think you also have to factor in the fear of getting caught.
Sure.
That keeps many people from doing things that they otherwise wouldn't bat an eye at doing.
I don't think it explains it all, because it just seems like there's so many stuff that's almost essentially risk-free.
Okay.
But then again, like, with the NSA situation,
is anything risk-free? Like, that's what I'm thinking. Like, so many cameras.
Like, if the light gets shined on you, then that's another whole philosophical discussion. Like, it's almost impossible, if someone is interested in you and what you're doing, it's almost impossible to hide.
Yeah.
You have to take heroically primitive measures to make sure that your identity is fairly untrackable.
Yeah.
Anyway, which that opens you up to a whole bunch of exploitation too. Let's get to some questions. We bullshitted long enough, or some comments, or whatever these things are. Anthony's got some bad news for us. Anthony B says, I just donated new money yesterday to SubBable for a commission podcast. It all went through according to SubBable.
How's that bad news?
No, I'm just saying that it was my understanding that you couldn't pay new money. So I need to go back and look at that timeline, because it's like we're just essentially waiting on SubBable for us either to roll that thing up, or for them to shut it down, to port everybody's balances over. So we'll look into that, and we'll have more official communication. This is kind of like unofficial communique. Let's see. Danny H says, Jim, do you find it as off-putting as I do that Ginsburg is in Silicon Valley? When is he in Silicon Valley?
He is,
because I'm 2 episodes behind.
He is the lawyer for Pied Piper, who isn't actually going to help.
He's on the team that's on their team.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. He's the ineffectual lawyer who's just hooking. He's really just an agent. He's a lawyer agent.
He's getting his beak wet.
Yeah.
He's the middleman.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't find him off-putting. I think he's like showing the variety in his performances. I was kind of shocked by seeing him,
because he's like an Ari Fleischer. What is that his name? He's an not Ari Fleischer. I think that's a White House guy from the Bush administration. Ari from Entourage. He's that kind of guy.
Yeah.
Which is not Ginsburg.
No, not at all.
That's not.
So when I saw him, I was like, whoa, he can do something completely different.
Sure.
So I thought it was cool seeing him. But yeah, that's, I don't know, a little creepy. I wonder if he has any nipples in that show.
That'd be a nice Easter egg if he shows up and he's just
It
missing a
would be.
nipple.
Yeah.
I think that's the type of show that would do that too.
Mhm.
Let's see here. Owen B said, under what conditions would you consider podcasting a brand new non-spinoff show from the first episode?
If it was named Fargo, if it was named
The Leftovers. So that's to illustrate the
else?
point is that we are willing to take bigger, because you never know. And we've been asked this a couple times, and so I'll try to answer it on this lunch. We have a bunch of different metrics we look at when we're deciding whether we want to do a show or not. You know, obviously, if it's past season 1, you can actually look at ratings and online communities. Other than that, our first criteria is, do we like this? Or are we interested in it? We saw Fargo, and we're like, it's got Billy Bob Thornton. It's got Colin Hanks. It's got Bob Odenkirk. Not the Nolan brothers. The Coen brothers signed off on it, which
it's Fargo.
We later found out wasn't a ringing endorsement. It was more of this, just like, okay, whatever, we're not involved. But originally we thought they were kind of at least creatively involved. Mm-hmm. And it was Fargo. So, and the stuff we saw coming out looked amazing. So we were all in. The Leftovers, I got in because of the cult angle. Like if it didn't have the Doomsday Cult, I probably wouldn't have covered it from the beginning.
I remember you gushing about the preview too. Like, that very ominous, weird preview that they had.
Yeah.
You were just like, oh man, we got to cover this. Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah. And it was a Benioff. Wait, not David Benioff.
Carlton not
it. Yeah.
It's the other
whipping
Lindelof.
Boy.
Yeah.
Lindelof. I always got the confused. David Lindelof and Carlton Cuse. Wasn't Carlton Cuse?
He's not involved.
Wasn't it?
No.
So it's just
those were the Lost guys, but Carlton Cuse isn't involved in this.
All right.
It's Perrotta.
Tom Perrotta, author. Yeah.
Is the author.
Yeah.
Who's the other guy that's co-writing it with him or
I thought it was Lindelof and Perrotta, and that's it.
Is it Perrotta?
Yeah.
Okay.
We talked about.
I don't even remember.
There's a terrifying interview post-season where they're talking about their creative differences, and I'm like, oh god, keep fighting the dark side, Perrotta. Keep fighting the dark side.
He's pulling it in the direction of grounded reality.
Can we get a smoke monster in here? How about if a plane just falls from the sky?
I watched the documentary Showrunners on Netflix.
Yeah.
Pretty recently, and Lindelof's in that, and he talks a little bit about Lost and how it shook out and how he kind of has something that he has to, like, after the fact, live up to, and kind of prove himself in a different way. And I don't know, it felt very much like he understood his position going into this show.
Yeah. So. But anyway, get back to the question that Owen was asking. So if we like it, then that's a sure thing. Do we have time to cover it? Like, we have a 3 to 4 episode
hit in February.
Yeah.
No, we're not covering it.
We have like a 3 to 4 show a week that we can do, and that 4 is only something we can do like in overlapping periods to kind of get us through.
Yeah, like a few weeks of it
before we're just booked up solid on stuff. So, and then finally we go and look at is there buzz? Like, if we were going to consider, I'm trying to think of a new show coming out. I don't know, that like Expanse that's on Sci-Fi. I'd go to the Reddit. It's got Chad Coleman who's playing a commander. It's based on we've talked about it. I'd have to go on the Reddit and see what the r/Expanse group looks like. What kind of buzz? Are there a lot of forums? Are there a lot of fan communities springing up? What's their Facebook likes? Because ideally you want to find something that we're passionate about and that also a lot of other people are looking for. Otherwise, you can run into stuff like Justified and the Americans, where we're doing a podcast, we love the show or not, but we're only having like 1,200 people download it, and it's like, man, what could we do better or more efficiently?
Yeah, and like the excuse me, that becomes more of a concern as we continue to do more premium stuff, right?
Sure,
club members.
Yeah. All right, so that's that. Moving on to the next cue. Owen is coming back for more. He says, I've been listening to the Spoiler podcast as Game of Thrones show only watcher. It hasn't ruined my viewing experience at all, and it really helps explain why, or some of this history that you can't cover in regular cast. Is Jim ever tempted to go into spoiler land? Jim?
Sure. I definitely am tempted. But not in the way you think. I'm tempted to go look up things that I just saw in episodes to get what people are saying about it, but I'm so deathly afraid of ruining the, you know, non-book reader, book reader thing that we've got going that I don't even go look up. I don't do any research on Game of Thrones.
That's a real fear, because that's how I ended up becoming. Originally, I was going to be a show watcher only podcast, but I was trying to dig up some historical details, like of things that happened in the past, and just came across massive spoiler after massive spoiler.
Yeah.
So
how do you avoid it?
I mean, it's funny because there are communities like the r/Game of Thrones and r/ASOAIAF, whatever A Song of Ice and Fire is.
Yeah.
That they're like Nazi. Like they ruthlessly enforce tags about like which, you know, it's not just this is spoilers. It's this is book 3 spoilers. This is preview release chapter spoilers. This is leaked show spoilers, except for they ban all that discussion. But the thing is it's also a pain in the ass to just make comments and like discuss things as a group. I feel like that if you're afraid of spoilers, you got to do like what Jim does and just studiously avoid it all, because you can't really dip your toe into spoiler waters and remain unspoiled. And there's a lot of people like you, Owen, that don't give a shit. Like,
yeah, and I wouldn't necessarily care if it weren't for the podcast.
Yeah. I'm very spoiler immune. Like the only time I get mildly annoyed is like if I'm going to a movie that night and then somebody spoils something for me. That drives me crazy because I'm just about there. But if someone like, you know, it's like if I'm not going to see a movie for a year or two, yeah, tell me all about it. I don't care. I might never see the movie unless you tell me something cool about it, and I'll watch it. Yeah,
the temptation, I guess, is the thing. It doesn't exist in me. I don't like spoilers for the most part. I would much rather have, you know, my spoilers given to me over the course of watching the movie unspoiled for the first time.
Yeah,
and then I can go back with spoilers and rewatch it if I want to. So I mean, I guess, yeah, even if I weren't, you know, deathly afraid of finding spoilers for the sake of the podcast, I probably wouldn't be tempted to go look up spoilers. I'd rather just enjoy it as the story unfolds on the screen.
Okay. Next comment. She is Geeky says, you want scary, stupid government policy? They tell you never to give anyone your social security number, but when you're either old enough or disabled, your Medicare number is your social security number. Seriously terrifying. That's funny. My dad is really one of those types that are belligerent about giving out his social security number. Like if they ask him for it, it's like, what do you need it for? And like he'll say, I've
good.
Yeah,
like I think it's bullshit that you have to give it for credit cards, for, I mean, really anything. If you're signing up for anything online that is more than just like, you know, internet access,
right?
Or you're buying something. Like,
but it's a universal identifier for you. It uniquely identifies you out of a sea of other Jim Jones. You know, so it's like, I understand why they want it. The real crime is that is the keys to the kingdom.
Sure.
Like knowing a number is all you need to do a lot of things.
At some point, there has to be one of those, right? The keys to the kingdom have to exist within a thing.
There should be a dual challenge. There should be a public thing that you can look someone up by, and then a private challenge that only that person knows. That's how you do. It's 2-factor authentication. Something you have, something you know. And that there should be a process governmentally where a person can change that second piece of information as well if it's compromised. This is security 101.
I don't have kids. When do you get your social security number?
When you pop out of a vagina.
So how do you do a dual factor authentication for a person who knows nothing?
The parents do. I mean, it'd be something that the parents are entrusted with. So you'd still have instances where parents fuck over kids, like they do now, sadly enough. But it'd be more secure. And then when the person turns 18 or whatever, that could be, you know, just like you register for the draft or selective service. If you're a young man, you go and apply for your individual token. And I'm sure there's a big process.
Is it something you just have to remember?
I would.
Or I mean, you could
write it down. You could write it down, I'm sure.
What if you forget it?
Then God help you. You're not a person anymore.
That's what I mean. Like it has to come back
off to Mexico.
Has to come back to something. It would seem to me like we should use like biometrics.
Yeah, but
like retina scans or fingerprints or
that's
something.
True.
Because how else can you be absolutely 100% sure that the person coming to you is the person?
The problem with biometrics are the affordable and easy to use ones are very easy to fool, and they're also non-revocable. So if they do get compromised,
are they very easy to fool in the context of like a movie? Or if someone looked at your thumb, they could tell you, oh, you've got something on your thumb, you're trying to fool the sensor. Fuck you, get out of here.
Oh, sure.
Like that's what I mean. When you go to scan and say I am who I am,
so it's
to
like,
get your identification again, they can be looking at your fingers physically.
No,
and
I would
say,
think so, because like if you ever gotten fingerprinted in a police station, for example,
or a bank,
I would think that there was probably a way for them to do that, or treat it with a chemical to see if it's, you don't have any fake thumb.
Like that seems like the only
that.
foolproof way to me.
But then again, what would happen if you're a double amputee? And I mean, like I'm saying,
no,
that's the problems,
too.
like DNA. But then giving the government your DNA is like, I'm sure they'd love that.
Violation
that shit.
of privacy, sure.
Anyway, this has been the tinfoil government Black Hawk helicopter.
I'm convinced that at some point on this show we are going to solve the world's problems, all of them.
Well, we've created enough of them.
I've seen enough Christopher Nolan movies to bring together a plot. I know how to do this.
Danny H said, just wondering, when are you planning to drop the True Detective recaps? I presumed you'd go with one a week until the new series starts, but with that time frame gone, I can only presume it'll be one a day the week before. I think we're actually targeting either double 2 a week, or maybe a what do you call that? A House of Cards release schedule, where it's a Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The reason being, we're trying to we're not gaming as much as you can game a system by recording 20 plus hours of content and releasing it. We're trying to maximize our new and notable time. So the idea is 2 or 3 weeks before you release this content, while people are searching for it, and you show very high recency and very high relevancy, you're a shoehorn for new and notable, especially at the size that we get, that we are, and we've got a bunch of loyal fans that'll give us reviews. So it's just essentially, and we've done this for almost every new show that we covered, and we have advance notice for. Like, we did it for season, when we started out season 2 Walking Dead, we covered first season. We started season 2 Game of Thrones, we released the first season as a catch up. It's a great way to like give your audience a shot in the arm as far as statistically.
Yeah.
So, all right. I think that's it. I got big plans this weekend. My girlfriend's going out of town, so my boy's coming over, and we're dragging his television out to the living room. We're going to play Father-Son Destiny all weekend long.
Cool.
You're
headed to Indy.
You're going to go visit some family?
Yeah, going to go visit my brother, visit some friends in Indianapolis. Have a good time this weekend.
Cool. Tell him hi for me.
Will do.
And then we got to get on this commission podcast. We'll probably drop on Monday for the movie Memento. So thanks everyone for supporting us. Thanks for joining us in lunch, and we will see you next Friday. Until then, have a great weekend.
Yeah. See ya.
See ya.